And we're at it again, my friends. Hello, everybody. Here from Elizabeth, New Jersey, and a McDonald's off of Route 1 and 9. Crazy Tom here with, by the way, just a couple inches to the south, Elizabeth High School in their football field. They're actually doing their band practice there. And a quick note, because Elizabeth, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, played winless Franklin Township, and Franklin stunned them in Somerset, which was quite a surprise. But then I found out that the Elizabeth quarterback got hurt in the first quarter, and that completely changed the game plan. But hey, what are you gonna do? But anyway, I'm here for round 7 of the NFL rankings from 1 to 32. Of course, I start from 32. I'm working my way all the way up to 1. Not necessarily Casey Kasem like when it comes to how I describe things. Now, obviously, a lot of things have been taking place, and of course, I'm still trying to get over Sunday night in D.C., which I think may have altered and ended the Cowboys season, but I had my comments on that, and especially some for the rest of round 7. Of course, round 8 starts on Thursday when the Miami Dolphins take on the suddenly resurgent Houston Texans, which will be an interesting game. All right, so without further ado, considering I do have a run in about, I guess, half hour or so, let's get to the listing right now. Number 32, right on the bottom, and no surprise, the Arizona Cardinals. Boy, they put out a pitiful performance against the Denver Broncos, but then again, the Broncos had lost 4 in a row, needed that game, and it was basically a home game for them. Arizona still trying to find themselves. Now they're talking about Patrick Peterson maybe going somewhere else, but we'll see. Arizona has the rematch against the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday at home. Number 31, the Oakland Raiders, who of course stayed there because they had their bye week this past week. They are home to Indianapolis on Sunday, and we'll see how Andrew Luck does against them. The Raiders, of course, cleaning house. They get rid of Amari Toomer to the Cowboys. Was it Amari Toomer, or is it? I'm confused. Toomer or Cooper, whomever it is, the Raiders receiver. And then they just, they're going to be cleaning more house before the trade deadline. So Gruden's trying to build from the ground up, almost like Jimmy Johnson did 30 years ago. Number 30, the New York Giants, another team that's cleaning house. Of course, they played badly for a while against Atlanta, had a late surge, but still fell 3 points short. Giants, they're not going anywhere. They're done. There's talk about Eli Manning going to Jacksonville, but another Eli went on the move as Eli Apple went to the Saints, and Snacks Harrison is going to be taking his meal somewhere else, to Detroit, as he got traded earlier today. Giants will be home to the Redskins on Sunday, so we'll see how that plays out. This could be a good game for the Giants, even though off a short week, because the Redskins coming off an emotional and, shall we say, senseless win. Well, we'll see how that goes. Number 29, the San Francisco 49ers. Of course, that team not going anywhere, and they had to play the the bulldozer known as the Los Angeles Rams, and the Rams won, basically going at half speed. 49ers get their chance at a rematch at Arizona. Of course, Arizona, that was their only win this year so far, so we'll see how the 49ers do on Sunday. Number 28, the Buffalo Bills. Well, what can you say about the Bills? I mean, this is a team that's obviously not knowing where it's going, and needless to say, they're going to have another problem as they're home against New England on Monday Night Football this coming Monday, so not going to get much better, although the Bills could find the Patriots in a divisional trap game. We'll see. Number 27, I did mention the Indianapolis Colts. They finally got a win over those hapless Bills. But remember, it's Andrew Luck. Now he's got to go on the road and outdoors at Oakland next week, so we'll see if the Colts can put up 2 in a row. Number 26, although a valiant effort, still wasn't good enough. The Cleveland Browns get that mark. The Browns played Tampa Bay tough. But go figure, they've had so many games go to overtime and so many come down to the very last play. Remember, one game ended in a tie already. So Browns lost on a 59-yard field goal on Tampa's behalf. So, oh boy. Well, for Cleveland, they get their rematch at Pittsburgh next week. So that ought to be fun. Number 25, the Dallas Cowboys, and for good reason. They absolutely positively should have won that game at Washington. I don't care if the odds are against you, if it's 18 on 11, meaning 11 Redskins and 7 officials, as was the case on Sunday, you need to overcome it. And the fact that they couldn't, and they lost the game, which clearly the referees decided, I don't care about these even little rules that invent the rules where the NFL writes an apology like the next day or two. Yeah, you can take that apology and shove it up Roger Goodell's rear end, because he's obviously about money. He hates the Cowboys, he hates Jerry Jones, and he wants to make sure while he's there, they don't win a Super Bowl. It is embarrassing, and the Cowboys, although they did get Amari from the Raiders, guess what? I don't think it's going to be much help. Doesn't matter. They have another week to think about all this because they're off, and thank goodness. They're just a bad team, plain and simple. Number 24, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they have been going downhill and fast. A must-win against the Houston Texans at home, and they could not even do that, losing 20-13. Now they have their London game against the defending champion Eagles, who can't find their way. So you're going to have two desperate teams fighting over the queen, or actually to stay in the playoff hunt. So we'll see what happens there on Sunday. The third of 4 London games, by the way. Number 23, the New York Jets. You know it was going to be a tough task for them against Minnesota, and it showed. The Jets, though, have to travel to play the Chicago Bears next week, and the Bears, you know, they're going to be hungry after a tough loss. Number 22, the Tennessee Titans. Well, what do you expect of the Titans? Not much to really show for, if you ask me. But they have a bye next week, so they're going to stay put. Number 21, the Atlanta Falcons. Well, they're going to stay put at that spot, too, as they, of course, beat the Giants in a close one. Now to get a chance to heal up a little bit and maybe have a second-half surge. We'll have to wait and see, but they will stay at 21 next week also. Number 20, the Denver Broncos. Of course, they lost 4 in a row and then had an impressive road win at Arizona. Go figure, we've had 2 games that ended 45-10, the Thursday night and the Sunday night game. But Denver woke up, and then their backup quarterback got charged in some sort of domestic crime. He got released. So now, who's your backup quarterback if Casey Keenum goes down? Denver will have to find their way, but at least they'll have rest as they travel to Kansas City. This could be the game Kansas City gets picked off. Remember, it is a rematch from the 4th round of the season. Number 19, the Philadelphia Eagles. Shocking loss at home against Carolina. Probably their worst loss at home by way of the 4th quarter since 1985, when the Eagles led 23-0 against Minnesota. Minnesota scored 4 touchdowns in the final 8.5 minutes and won 28-23. This was very similar as Cam Newton was able to roll the comeback and win the 4th quarter. Eagles almost had a chance, but then Carson Wentz fumbled at the very end and cost the Eagles the game. I mean, the Eagles are going to be very desperate playing at Jacksonville in London next week. That is for sure. Number 18, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, finally back on the winning schneid after losing 4 in a row. And they had to do it on a 59-yard field goal over Cleveland. Not necessarily the most impressive thing in the world, but hey, they're back on a winning track, and now they got to keep it going as they're going to be playing at Cincinnati. The problem is the Bengals are really a bunch of angry animals, because you lose at the very end against Pittsburgh, and then you get blown out of Kansas City. The Bengals might be coming for them. Number 17, the Detroit Lions. Lions have been playing better as of late. I called this a trap game when they played at Miami, and I thought Detroit would win that game. They did. Now they're home to Seattle. Seattle, of course, coming off a bye week, so it's going to be a little bit interesting to see how that all plays out. Tough game for the Lions on Sunday. And speaking of Seattle, the Seahawks are number 16 coming off that bye, playing Detroit. Number 15, the Chicago Bears. Tough break against New England. I mean, how on earth do you lose when you give up 2 special teams touchdowns? Patriots on a kickoff return and then a blocked punt for a touchdown ended up being the difference in the game. But they have the New York Jets coming in, so might be a rebound game for Chicago. Number 14, the Green Bay Packers. Well, this could be one of the games of the week, considering the Packers, they had their bye week, now they're rested, and now they go to LA to play the undefeated Rams. That's going to be a heck of a game. Number 13, it's the Cincinnati Bengals. And I forgot to mention, with the Packers at the LA Rams, go figure. That game's going to be on at 4:25 Eastern, and then you have, potentially, Game 5 of the World Series from Dodger Stadium. Joe Buck cannot be in 2 places at once. Please be reminded of that. Now to number 13, the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals really fell hard. As I said, they've lost their last 2 at the last second, home against Pittsburgh, and then they completely got blown out against Kansas City. Now they have a chance to redeem themselves with Tampa Bay coming in to Paul Brown Stadium. Number 12, the Pittsburgh Steelers, of course, coming off their bye. Rematch against the Cleveland Browns, whom they played in the first draw of the season back in round 1. Should be an interesting rematch at Heinz. Number 11, the Miami Dolphins, slipping after their loss to Detroit. Of course, that was a trap game that I called. And Miami, of course, plays tomorrow night in Houston. Should be an interesting Thursday night game. Number 10, go figure, it had to take a goalpost to do it. The Baltimore Ravens. I mean, I just feel so bad for their kicker, who made every extra point, like every 30-yard field goal or shorter, until he missed one at the very end of the game against the Saints. That's a killer. Let's see if the Ravens rebound at Carolina. This could be a game that catches Carolina in a trap. Number 9, the Houston Texans. They've been on a roll, and of course, they won their last 4 in a row, I guess, as now all of a sudden I am doing my YouTube video and a crowd is surrounding me here. Go figure. Then again, the Texans, hey, they could make it 5 in a row, but hey, Miami, they're going to be angry. They shouldn't have lost to Detroit, but then again, they have a short week to rebound. It can be a good Thursday night game at NRG Stadium. So we'll see what happens there. Number 8, the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are on a roll now. And now they have their home game Sunday night against the New Orleans Saints, the Stephon Diggs rematch. And of course, you'd have to figure this is Drew Brees' last chance to really do something. So good NBC game to watch for Sunday night. Saints and Vikings. Will there be a miracle? Will there be a miracle in U.S. Bank Stadium? Hey, this was more of a miracle than when they pulled the illegal formation Philly special in Super Bowl 52. Remember that. So the Vikings are number 8. Number 7, the Carolina Panthers. The stunning victory over the Eagles on Sunday with 21 fourth-quarter points. They go into a little bit of a trap because they're going to be playing a bunch of angry Ravens at home. This could be a game Carolina gets picked off because Baltimore has a very good defense. Number 6, and thank you to the officials on this one, the Washington Redskins. Yes, they got every break in the book. You hit Dak Prescott in the head, get away with it, and then you pick on the center for the Cowboys, who supposedly did an illegal snap and hadn't called it in his 14 years. It was obvious the officials were on the Redskins' side. Could be a trap game. Even though the Giants are selling everybody off, Redskins could be in trouble on Sunday at MetLife Stadium. Number 5, the formerly known as the San Diego Chargers. They are off this week, and San Diego keeps on turning here, as they will stay at the number 5 position for next week. Number 4, the New England Patriots. They keep going. As like I said, I thought it was a game the Bears were going to win, but 2 special teams touchdowns, one on a kickoff return and one on a block punt for a touchdown, the difference in the game. Tom Brady never dies. Neither does Bill Belichick. And neither does that foghorn they could bring over to Fenway Park for the World Series. Patriots Monday night in Buffalo. That should be an interesting game. Number 3, the New Orleans Saints. The Saints, of course, coming up really big, of course, as of late. Of course, that big one over the Baltimore Ravens. Now they have to travel to Minnesota on that Sunday night game, the Stephon Diggs rematch. Great NBC game. We'll see if the Saints can keep it going. Number 2 and staying put, the Kansas City Chiefs. You put 45 on the board against Cincinnati. And Andy Reid probably could have gone for more than 50, but hey, you know how Vegas is. When you get to a certain number, you stop. That's why I don't bet these games. But the Chiefs are home in their rematch against the Denver Broncos, a Monday night rematch from a month ago. Be warned, Kansas City could be picked off this game. Big rivalry game. Think about this. 1991, the Washington Redskins were 11-0 against the Dallas Cowboys, playing their 3rd straight road game in a row. Dallas ended up winning that game at RFK Stadium. This could be the game Denver stops Kansas City's streak here. But the bigger one is the number 1 team, and that's the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are home to the Packers, who have had a bye week. This could be the week the Rams get picked off by the Packers if the Packers are going to be serious here. So it all remains to be seen as to how that's going on. You know, it's pretty funny. I've been doing these shows for like 7 weeks, and I don't think I've ever attracted a crowd like this one. But like I said, a lot of crazier things are still to happen. Once the World Series is over, I can guarantee you that the NFL is going to be a big, big thing. But as I said, you always do this recording, and now, of course, you put it on YouTube, and you're like, okay, just hope you end up not being distracted here. And this week has obviously been a little bit of a challenge. So let me finish this up and read you from 32 to number 1 once again, from bottom to the top. Sounds like CNC Music Factory here. So let's start from the bottom at 32. Cardinals, Raiders, Giants, 49ers, Bills, Colts, Browns, Cowboys, Jaguars, Jets, Titans, Falcons, Broncos, Eagles, Buccaneers, and Lions, the Lions being number 17. Then 16 on up, Seahawks, Bears, Packers, Bengals, Steelers, Dolphins, Ravens, Texans, Vikings, Panthers, Redskins, Chargers, and the top 4, Patriots, Saints, Chiefs number 2, and number 1 once again, the Los Angeles Rams. Like I said, 3 games to watch for. Baltimore at Carolina, that could be a trap game for the Panthers. Denver at Kansas City could be a trap game for the Chiefs and its revenge. And Green Bay at the LA Rams. Rams could have their unbeaten streak snapped against a rested Packer team coming off a bye at the Coliseum. Will be a great week of football because the Cowboys aren't playing. Thank God. Anyway, that's it for me. Crazy Tom here from Elizabeth and McDonald's. We'll see you guys next week. In the meantime, be ready for some football and going back to listen to some baseball.